Hello, welcome to Undisputed Boxing. Finally, we've got a boxing schedule in the UK. We're going to talk about it a little bit today. This is just going to be for confirmed fights and what we are excited for coming up. Finally, Dillian Whyte has got his date with Povetkin. Rick, talk us through the schedule. Which fights are you sort of excited for?
Yeah, I mean, this was Matchroom haven't done anything like this before, where they almost like announced the announcement.
Yeah.
So it was due to 6 o'clock UK time, and I think it landed about 8:30. The YouTube feed was definitely a lot later. In the end, I'd given up and then just saw it announced on Sky. But so you've got Josh Warrington in a fight against Lara. I think Josh Warrington wanted the other fight. That's the
Hanzu, IBF champion.
Yeah, but I think that's still on the cards. I think they want more of a crowd for that. So I think that he'll kind of go straight into a camp after this fight, and that'll take place more in the summer. Now, how many people he can get crowd-wise, I don't know, but I don't know if it's going to take place in June, July. They might be able to get some in the football stadiums. Yeah. If they do it in Leeds. So that's the headline on that card. Then you got Avanesyon and Kelly, which we've spoken about for a while. So it's good that that's back on. I mean, one thing that they're not doing is I haven't said a location yet for any of these. Yeah. Absolutely any of these. So on a heard interview, there isn't one. But the 13th of February, I think, is the earliest that the UK British Border Control are going to let you do any fights. And I think they want to go back to Wembley because they like the setup and they want to do it in one area for all these fights. But obviously the hospital's still quite rammed in London because of COVID, and I'm not sure. I think they'll be better in February, but I think there'll be potentially other areas that are in better positions. So maybe these will come more up north. We'll see. And then you've got the Povetkin Whyte, which I think we'll obviously come back to. Yeah. And then you got Okolie, Glowacki. But yeah, I mean, the big one for me is obviously the Povetkin Whyte rematch. We thought we were going to have this in, I think, November, then it moved to kind of late January, and now it's March. And hopefully there's no delays in this, and it takes place. It's like we keep saying, we've talked about this rematch for a while, but it's a big one for Whyte. You can't mess it up. And you'd like to think that the delay will help Whyte a bit because he'll be a bit mentally scarred. And I think you really need fights to get you over it, but time will help as well. And with every day that goes by, Povetkin's getting more into his 40s. So yeah. I know you're pumped for this one, aren't you?
Yeah, I am just because I think it's a wonderful fight. I think it's a great clash of styles. The battle of the left hooks. It's a crazy when you think about it. Retrospectively, it was a crazy fight to take on. Really, I mean, I think most people would have forgiven Dillian Whyte for taking a bit of a took-over job whilst he's sat in mandatory position, and there was so much was made of it, and then he's jumping in there with Alexander Povetkin, who they obviously thought was over the hill, way past his best. Some of that may be true, but he's such a dangerous opponent as it proved to be on the night. And it's weird. I think I see it as a closer fight now than I did when it was in the summer. I really thought Whyte was going to maybe stop him late. I think was my prediction. But now it's a flip of a coin for me, this one.
Yeah, I'm not with you on that. I've gone more for Whyte, actually. I mean, I backed Whyte first time. I was always worried. I thought he'd hit the canvas, and I was always worried about the sneaky punches, because that's what Povetkin does. And if anything, what logic says is now Whyte really knows about these sneaky punches and will be even more on guard for them. And we know that he can definitely hurt Povetkin, and Povetkin's going to be getting older. So that's my logic to what kind of back Whyte more than I did in the first fight. But I'm not saying that. I'm not saying Povetkin doesn't have a chance, because he clearly does. It's funny to see what's going to happen in the long run. If Whyte, it's a cagey affair and he gets him out of there, middle to late rounds, he'll go into potentially a world championship fight in the summer, or a fight and then a world championship fight, and he'll be more wiser for it. So if he does win this, he'll probably be in a better position to fight for a world title than if he hadn't gone through that experience. You could argue, is he going to be a bit more chinny for it, or will he have demons? Just not sure Dillian Whyte's that kind of makeup in his mind, got that makeup mentally.
Yeah.
Quite strong mentally. And, I think he gets through Povetkin, he'll be like, right, and he'll be better off for the loss and then the win than if he just got the win.
Yeah.
We'll see on that. I mean, that's the main kind of headlines. Interesting on the undercard on that one, you've got Wardley versus Molina. I know you think that's a slightly pointless fight, I think. I don't know. I don't see him having. I don't think Molina's a massive threat, but I'm just interested to see how Wardley deals with him and how quickly he does him. I think.
Yeah.
Bergovic did him in 3 or 4.
Yeah.
Right.
I remember it being very early. Yeah, I do think that's a poor fight, to be honest. I know that he's fought for a world title twice, but it doesn't really say a lot for me. And I just think it was really poor against Joshua. I know it was a few years ago. I don't know. I'd like to see him maybe in there with like a domestic rival, maybe Fabio Wardley.
You got to remember, he's quite young and not young, but sorry, he's still not got tons of fights under his belt. The last fight was against the guy. So I don't know. It's not. You got his bet. Where he's at the moment, his last win is not against someone that's highly ranked. So you're going to be easy. So I think for me, Molina's not a bad step. I know what probably is going to happen, but I think in the ranking side of things and Molina is more experienced and is a step up from any opponent. And that's what I'm excited to see him do the same kind of thing, because he's obviously just, can walk through all those levels. Yeah. He doesn't look like he should hit as hard as he does, but he looks like he might have a big shot on him.
Yeah, we'll see. Okay. Any other big fight? Conor Benn's fighting, isn't he? Samuel Vargas.
Yeah, what one's that on?
I think it's April. I forget the actual date. But do you remember when we talked about Conor Benn in the post-fight, and I said somebody like a Samuel Vargas next before going in with Josh Kelly? He's the guy that Amir Khan beat.
Has Vargas ever been world title fight?
I don't think he has. I think he fought Virgil Ortiz last year. I don't think he has fought for a world title, but I think he's in that world. He's like almost kind of like a gatekeeper to the world scene or European scene. I don't know if it's for a European title. I don't think it is, but I think that's a decent fight to sort of see where he's at. I think that the one he had against Fortuna, I think he just came to survive a little bit, but I was still quite impressed with him. But I think it looks like it's all roads are pointing towards Conor Benn, Josh Kelly in the summer, which will be quite a good fight, actually.
You've also got the Povetkin fight, that Campbell Hatton debut. Obviously, it should be a straightforward fight, but it'd be interesting to see him.
What weight is he campaigning at? Is he super feather?
No, actually.
I think he might be super feather.
Bigger than his dad, though. Okolie Glowacki, obviously. Okolie had a run out on the Joshua undercard and looked like, wasn't hugging and looked quite a lot better, but it was against probably quite a poor opponent, actually. So I think, the Glowacki fight is a big step up for him. It's probably good. It was delayed. I think it's always good when someone quite novice gets a little bit more time, got another run out, got another, training camp under his belt. I think that will just help him. But yeah, that's another one. I think that's the one I'm probably after the Whyte fight. That's the next one for me. I'm looking forward to the most.
Okay. Yeah, no, that will be a good fight.
It'd be interesting, the Povetkin Whyte, because that is, they're going to have to fatten that up for pay-per-view. I mean, at the moment, Chief supports Wardley and Molina, so that's lacking something. Now, we'll get onto this later with some of the news, but there has been talk of Hrgovic and Okolie. You could say that would definitely that would be an undercard for pay-per-view, isn't it?
Yeah, potentially. Still feels like it's lacking a little bit of spice. I thought Ted Cheeseman was going to be chief support against JJ.
No, I mean, that's all that's announced at the moment. But I mean, more stuff may have come out. I'm just looking at the Sky Sport, the initial thing, but that was updated yesterday. There's going to be more to add, clearly, especially on that card. So we just hope that the quality builds up, because it's obviously a pay-per-view event. The actual fight, the main event, because it was last time. I think it did okay numbers, close to 300,000. And obviously, it might do even more because of the intrigue what happened last time.
Yeah.
But yeah, they need to thicken up the undercard a bit.
Yeah. Another fights I saw that got announced was Carl Frampton against Jamel Herring for the super featherweight WBO title, I think it is.
That would make him, is it 3 weight?
If he can win, which I think he will actually. I think he'll beat Jamel Herring. I think Jamel Herring is 35, 36. Didn't look great in his last fight. And yeah, I think that's almost tailor-made really for Frampton to become 3-weight world champion. But I do think that Frampton is on the slide, to be honest. I don't think he's going to be on the slide as much as
is Herring like the weakest of the champions?
I would say so, yeah.
Who else have we got?
Just trying to think. Isn't Tank one of the champions? Doesn't he have the WBA belt? I'll tell you now.
He stepped up though, isn't he? You're not relinquished.
Yeah. Well, I don't think he did step up, but he hasn't officially relinquished yet, I think. I don't know. Let me just double check. 1 second. And this is
probably will
100% of today. Oh, yeah, so Miguel Bachelt, who is fighting Oscar Valdez, which is a great fight. He's a WBC champ. Yeah, it says Javante is still WBA, and then Joseph Diaz is IBF. So yeah, I'd say Jamel Herring is quite comfortably the weakest champion out of all of those. Well,
I imagine Frampton will fight. If he loses, he'll probably retire. If he wins, he'll defend and try and go for a, another belt. It's funny. I saw an interview with him, and they said, if you win this, the 3-weight world champion, would you step up to 4 weight, go into 135? He's just like, no way. He goes, that's just too big, and they're absolute beasts. There's the 4.
Well, it's funny because all of the champions at 135 at the moment are all talking about stepping up very soon. Devin Haney, they're saying he's going to go up to light welter probably this year. Teofimo Lopez, they are monsters at that weight. And Frampton is small for super feather. Let's not forget he was world champion at super bantam. He's a small guy. And I remember when he fought Leo Santa Cruz. Leo Santa Cruz towered over him.
What date's that again? Is it America as well?
No, I think he's coming to the UK.
Is there an actual?
It's not in Ireland, actually. Interestingly, I thought it'd be in Ireland. I thought it'd come back to Ireland, but I don't think it's an actual location. I don't think they're going to have crowds. I don't think it's similar to. I think BT haven't announced where the fights are taking place yet, but it's on the 27th of Feb. Yeah. So and then in terms of other fights, there's obviously Manuel Char is fighting his regular WBA title against Trevor Bryan.
Is that actually happening?
Yeah.
And is what is that? Them 2 clowns on the undercard?
Yeah, Chris Lovejoy versus Bermain Stone.
Yeah, I think I'll catch that one the next day.
not one to wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning to watch.
2017. It's a joke.
I know.
Right, well, what the hell's he doing? I mean, the only thing I don't like that belt, that secondary belt, but I suppose the only thing is it could create fights because the winner of that, could attract someone like Whyte and go, actually, I'll fight for that, and I'm a world champion. Technically, they are, I suppose. So yeah, when's that then?
Are you asking me all the questions? I'm not. I haven't done my research. Hang on.
You shouldn't announce the fight. You don't know the detail.
Have I missed out any other fights that that have been announced? Oh, Caleb Truax is fighting Caleb Plant. I think that's on the 30th of Jan. That'll be that's a pretty straightforward job. Trevor Bryan against.
Go on. When's that?
It's on the 29th of Jan, so it's a couple of weeks. Right. Could do a little prediction vid for that.
We might have to watch that because there's nothing else to watch in Jan.
Well, I think I am. To be honest, I am interested to see Caleb Plant against Caleb Truax. I know it should be a walkover job, but I just haven't seen much of Caleb Plant. I want to kind of see what all the fuss is about. I've seen a couple of his.
Yeah, they are raving about.
Yeah, but I still haven't been wowed. I mean, he fought Uzcat's guy, who I know is very awkward, so it's difficult to look good against him. But I'd be interested to see how he gets on against Caleb Truax. But yeah, in terms of fights that have been announced, I think that is it.
Is Canelo fighting soon?
Oh yeah, I don't think it's been confirmed, but they're saying it. They've already got a date. Feb, yeah.
It's the mandatory.
This is mandatory, and it's going to fight in Guadalajara.
What's interesting is, like, I was looking at the Heard interview because that's when I know they mentioned it, and they said, Billy Joe Saunders is still the front runner, so that means the fight wouldn't take place until the summer.
Happening. That'll be Cinco de Mayo, so 5th of May.
It's a quick turnaround, but I think Billy Joe said it. He wants to tick over again. He'll want to fight in Feb. So whether he'll get squeezed onto one of these cards, maybe they'll squeeze him onto, I don't know, one of the early cards, and just a very simple fight.
Well, it'll have to be, because it's not just about the fight and potential for getting injury. It's the camp. Like, if you go through a grueling 10 or 12 week camp, then fight, and then have a few days off, and then go into another grueling camp, he's not going to be at his best for Cinco de Mayo. I think he just stays fit, stays healthy, starts his camp like 10 weeks before Cinco de Mayo. I think going into another fight, there was talk about him fighting Demetrius Andrade, but I just can't see that happening now. I think he'll just wait until the.
He's been ordered to fight his mandatory. Hearn said the letter came through yesterday or the day before.
Andrade against Liam Williams.
Yeah. I reckon he's going to bids.
Yeah, he's in a very tricky spot, to be honest. Not sure what he's going to do.
Who's that?
Andrade. Demetrius Andrade, because he wants a big fight. He wants to either fight Billy Joe Saunders or Triple G. And I can see him potentially not getting either. Yeah. And he is in desperate need of a career-defining fight, to be honest. He's not getting any luck with the Charlo brothers fighting either. So, yeah. And, I think that's all the fights that have been confirmed and announced. Adrian Broner's looking for another opponent for the 13th of Feb because his opponent got COVID.
Okay. So some of that going on as well. Especially in the UK life at the moment. I mean, the cases are coming down, but hopefully by when they start in Feb, it won't be as thingy. But, when they were doing to be fair, fight camp wasn't too bad with positive tests, I don't think. I think there was, I can't remember if there are any, but while it's high, there's chances of more catching it. So I hope that doesn't ruin things.
Yeah.
Okay. We'll do a video after this on some of the news and speculation and gossip.
Rumors, yeah. Okay. All right, let's wrap it up.
Okay.